Well, Coach, you were a part of the UL women's basketball program for so many years, and you've now decided to take your talents to Texas A&M Texarkana. Just tell me kind of what went into that decision and why did you feel like it was time to move on?
You well aware that I was there for 13 years and practically all my life. And it was, I guess, timing is everything. I got an opportunity to be the head coach here at Texarkana. And it was just an opportunity that I thought I couldn't pass by due to the climate at UL, the changing of what's going on there. I felt that it was a need. Talked to my family, my wife, and everybody else, gave me their blessings, say it was time to move on, and took a leap of faith. And it was a tough decision, but I felt the need that it was time due to the climate at UL.
Kind of going into that, what are some things that you kind of were able to learn and utilize in your time as being an assistant, being in that second chair, sitting with Coach Broadhead, and getting a chance to watch along the sidelines as well as you continue to coach alongside him.
Well, I learned a lot, in 13 years, given that opportunity to be an associate head coach. You learn a lot. You can learn the do's and the don'ts and how you would navigate when you do have your own program. And it was I was hands on a lot, whether it was scheduling, whether it was housing, whether it was recruiting, offense, defense. it was it was an opportunity that I was truly blessed to have, and I think it's going to really catapult me into my next endeavors.
How much did some of that help you for that experience now? Like, being at a G5 school where you have an opportunity to be a little bit more hands on, your staff isn't as expansive, you're able to be a lot more hands on. How much was that able to help you now to be in this position to take over as a head coach?
You know what? When you say the G5, I think it was because I was able to do so much, you know, I wouldn't box them into one section, even though I didn't have a title of recruiting coordinator. I was I was actually the recruiter. I would I didn't have the title of a certain specific area, but I was able to be used in those areas. So now I'm at a lower level school where I have to wear those hats, and I'm not afraid of it because I actually wore the hats of an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, uh, getting them into school with admissions, housing, going to the cafeteria, making sure their meal plans. No job was too small for me when I was at UL. So now it's not like I'm doing something outside of my element. And whether it was being community engagement at UL, whether any mopping the floors, I did it all. So it's like I'm really prepared for this.
Kind of going into your decision. Coach Broadhead has spoke so highly of you over the years. Even going back to, I asked him a question about having people on his staff and how important they are to him, and he said Coach Deacon is like a brother to me. Like, how different was that conversation when you were letting him know, like, hey man, like, I want to take this leap of faith now. I know we've been riding together for some time, but I think it's time for me to take that next step.
Again, it was a tough decision. Yes, we was together since when he first arrived. I was one of his first hire, if not the first hire. So it was a it was tough. Because I know how we started the program and how we wanted it to look. And again, it's it's tough. No, but like I said again, I thank the UL community, the university, for supporting me for the past 13 years. You know, they're the reasons why I actually stayed.
Absolutely. I guess my last question to you: um, what do you hope that the women's basketball team there in Texarkana can look like because of you know your coaching philosophy, your style of coaching, what do you hope your program will look like in year one of the Deacon Jones era?
Very competitive. We're gonna compete. Like I said, it's cliche to say up 20, down 20. I hope we up 20 more than we down 20, but we're gonna compete no matter what. It's one of those things that defense goes a long way. I'm a very defensive oriented team, a person, coach, and I just hope that when it's all said and done, that all my teams that I ever been a part of, we were competitive. We competed, and it showed by the respect of our opponents after. It shows by the respect of the coaches when they see me recruiting that your teams actually compete hard. And that's it. The score will be the score, and championships nets gonna get cut if you do it the right way. You set the foundation pieces, and then you want to look at our team. A we're gonna be connected. Relationships. You want to foster positive relationships. You're gonna tell that we're gonna be for one another. The young ladies out there on the court gonna have a true sisterhood. They're gonna be playing for one another. There won't be any selfishness. It's just something that I've been a part of for a long time. Even when I was coaching little rec leagues, it was we was we was all for one another, and that's all I want. One big, happy, joyful, like we playing on the playground.